Hello and welcome to our brand new episode of Money Means Business. My name is Ahmed Nader, and tonight we are going to focus on the impact of the regional war between the United States and Israel against Iran on the Egyptian economy and the procedures taken by the political leadership as well as the government of Egypt to be alleviating the suffering on the shoulders of the Egyptian citizens, to be dealing with the negative impacts of the repercussions of the Iran war against the United States and Israel in the United States, and to be shedding more light in the Middle East, and to be shedding more light on this important topic. I'm honored to be having with me in the studio for tonight Dr. Nader Khedr, the finance and the investment specialist. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Anytime. First of all, we'll be starting straight away with the main top stories that took place over the past couple of days, and more specifically for today and yesterday as well, as we will be starting with the presidential activities of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who had met with the Apache Corporation and ExxonMobil on the sidelines of the Egypt Energy Show 2026, Egypt's, to expand cooperation on the oil and gas exploration and the production projects as the global markets face disruption due to the regional tensions. The meetings come as the supply risks linked to the U.S.-Israeli war on Iran continue to unsettle the oil and gas markets. Sisi convened with the CEO of Apache Corporation, John Chrisman, in the presence of the Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and the Petroleum Minister Karim Badawi. The meeting was also attended by Apache President Stephen Riney and the company's Senior Vice President of the International Assets, Greg McDaniel. Talks with Apache, which Badawi noted is the largest American investor in Egypt, focused on the increasing exploration and the production activity, especially in the Western Desert, and improving the output from the existing fields. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli inspected on Saturday a number of industrial companies in the investment zone in Benha, the governorate of Qalyubiyya, as part of the efforts to support the industry and boost investment. Madbouli was accompanied by the Minister of Investment and Foreign Trade, Mohammed Farid, Minister of Industry, Khalid Hashim, or Hisham, and Qalyubiyya Governor Hassan Abdel Fattah, as well as a host of respective officials. Madbouli said that the state is working on removing the obstacles facing the investors, creating a favorable business climate, and expand the industrial localization in partnership with the private sector, aiming at positioning Egypt as a regional industrial hub. He noted that Benha's investment zone was established to attract investments, support the small and medium-sized enterprises, create jobs, and promote the food and agro-based industries to meet the local demand and enhance the exports. The Prime Minister added that the government plans to expand similar investment zones nationwide and continue supporting investors while addressing the challenges to ensure the market stability and availability of the goods. Dr. Nader, one of the main statements released by Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli for today was to be creating an atmosphere conducive for more investments, to be attracting more investments in the future. And we have seen the activities for today to be inspecting the companies in the governorate of Qalyubiyya, and more specifically in Benha. How do you see the importance of creating an atmosphere to be attracting investments, not just in Cairo and Alexandria and the big cities, but outside of the capital as well?
As you have said, the investment zones and industrial activities are one of the main topics that the government of Egypt and its political leadership is giving highly importance and high priority during the coming period. Egypt has to overcome the expected repercussions of the current geopolitical upheavals,
Yes.
Need to have its own supply chain integration and its own industrial base integration. To achieve this, we have to have our investment and industrial clusters. Among these clusters, industrial parks, investment parks, and industrial areas.
Yes.
We are seeing IDE offering many land plots for industrial activities in many industrial clusters and industrial zones. Also, we have seen the integration from the private sector part for industrial parks and industrial clusters that need to be more regulated and need to be more organized from the governmental side or from the official side, to be more precise, to be more attractive for investment. For example, the issue of land pricing and land treatment between the industrial developer and the main investor need to be handled with care through the financial regulatory authority, the investment authority, the industrial development law. All these points need to be covered for such issue, as not to have any market unsettled issues during the upcoming period, especially that we don't need to have any hassles during the coming period to overcome the repercussions, as I have said.
Yes, Dr. Nader, moving on to Egypt and Russia as they discuss the grain and energy hub, as Foreign Minister Dr. Badr Abdulati delivers President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's message to the Russian President Vladimir Putin. Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati had delivered a message from President al-Sisi to the Russian President in Moscow on Thursday, as the two sides discussed the plans for the potential grain and energy hub logistics in Egypt and broader efforts to deepen the bilateral ties. Abdulati held talks with Putin that focused on expanding the economic cooperation, including food security and energy, along the coordination on the regional crises. The proposed logistics hub, which would handle the grain and energy supplies, formed the central part of the discussions, with Moscow signaling readiness to expand the exports to Egypt, a major importer of the Russian wheat. Talks also centered on the key projects, including the Ad-Daba nuclear power plant. Abdulati said that Cairo is prioritizing the completion of the project on schedule, while Russia reaffirmed the commitment to delivering it. The two sides reviewed the progress on the planned Russian industrial zone in the Suez Canal economic zone, stressing the need to accelerate the launch amid growing interest from the Russian companies. The message from President al-Sisi emphasized the efforts to strengthen the Egypt-Russia strategic partnership and maintain coordination on the regional and the international issues, as Cairo pushes the diplomatic initiatives to contain tensions in the Middle East. And the Central Bank of Egypt keeps the interest rates unchanged amid rising regional uncertainty. In the first meeting since the eruption of the Iran war, the Monetary Policy Committee, the MPC of the Central Bank of Egypt, decided to keep the key policy interest rates unchanged, citing heightened inflation risks and growing regional uncertainty. The overnight deposit rate was maintained at 19%, the overnight lending rate at 20%, and the main operation rate at 19.5%. The discount rate was also held steady at 19.5%. The decision reflects the MPC's assessment of the recent inflation developments and the evolving economic outlook since the previous meeting, especially in light of the escalating geopolitical tensions in the region. Dr. Nader, how do you see the importance of the decision of the Central Bank of Egypt nowadays, which took place late in the past week, especially within all the developments on the political and the economic levels that we have seen over the past month or so?
Firstly, let me salute the management of the CPE during the past 3 weeks of their magnificent maneuvering for the upheavals that hit the economic very hard due to the energy crisis and geopolitical upheavals. During the current year, 2026, we were expecting to have an interest cut for over nearly 9% as per the statements of the central bank governor during the late quarter of 2025. Yet the upheavals that came needed strategic maneuver and a dynamic vision adjustment for the statements that has been happened. Accordingly, to avoid any hits from the hot money exiting due to the geopolitical upheavals, the central bank adopted a very cautious and a very wise strategy to maneuver such actions. Yet we have our currency nearly stable. However, the performance that happened, yet we didn't have an economic an inflationary shock,
Yes,
as we did before due to the oil prices hike or the natural gas hikes. Yet we didn't see any deterioration in the inflow of the inputs for industries, which is the main concern currently, to have all goods and all services available for the public. Integration between the financial and the monetary policies and the industrial and economic policies,
yes,
need to be escalated more. However, I see the coordination is upcoming naturally. The central bank is going smoothly with the high currents of the global crisis, and I presume we can see it waving out with minimal effect on the economic activities of Egypt by maybe the end of the third quarter or early Q4 of 2026.
yes. Dr. Nader, allow me to be going on the phone or over the phone to my guest, Dr. Gamal Al-Qalyoubi, the Professor of Petroleum Engineering. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on Money Means Business and Nile TV International.
Have a great night to you and your guest, and appreciation to all of you.
Anytime. Dr. Gamal, as we have seen over the past few days, the inauguration of Egypt 2026 with the participation and under the inauguration of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, in the attendance of the Cypriot President as well, Nikos Christodoulidis, and meeting, by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, meeting a number of high-level officials from different global companies, and more specifically American companies like Apache and ExxonMobil. How do you see the importance of Egypt? How do you see the significance of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi being there and inaugurating it himself?
Well, that's that's a conference in a version number 7 with many topics, and that's a very challenging was conference in the past 4 days. And according to 3 days had been consumed in that conference, there is a lot of topics, a lot of VIPs. Also, there is multinational companies had been already joined in that activities. We talk about 500 companies between exploration, production, technology, and investor companies, and that such of companies had add value in such a dedicated conference in terms of new investments, in terms of some challenge with the country to improve the production. Also, the target to consider Egypt a central hub for energy as part of that one, or that such companies willing to perform a deals, and also protocols with the Ministry of Petroleum in that event. President Sisi had already highlighted in many concerns and also some spots related to a very good communications and also cooperations between us and Cyprus related to the gas pipeline line, which had been started since 3 years ago and expected to be very close to be finished in 2026 under operationally test, and such very good communication and also cooperation in such activities will get some benefits in those two countries in terms of economies and also in terms of energies and apart to improve political direction. In the second highlight spots in that part, that President Sisi highlighted that thanks to the all foreigners companies that we are dealing with us in the production activities, and that the country had been delivered almost 75% of the total remaining rights for the all foreigners company. The remaining is still $1.3 billion, and had a promise that by end of June expected to completely deliver all the rights by within the next 2 months. Also, we highlighted that the crisis events had been running at moments between the invasion of Israel, USA versus Iran. That will affect directly to the shortage in the energies, and this is reflected badly to the global economy, and this is supposed to be attention and supposed to be also get some highly cooperation from the all international countries to assure that Hormuz Strait get a solution to facilitate the remaining tankers had been settled long-term times over 1 month in the area without no movement or any level of energy. And also that will be considered to deliver a message to President Trump that in terms of a situation like that, his decision and also his command to control the situation will be highlighted, appreciated from his side.
Yes, Doctor, and speaking of messages, we have seen another handwritten message sent from President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to the Russian President Vladimir Putin through the visit of Foreign Minister Dr. Badr Abdulati to Moscow in the past couple of days, I mean on Thursday and Friday as well. And during the discussions, the file of energy between the cooperation between Egypt and Russia in this field was discussed between the Foreign Minister of Egypt and the President of Russia, including the Al-Daba nuclear power plant and the cooperation in energy in general. How do you see the importance of diversifying our sources of cooperation in this field, and more specifically regarding the nuclear power plant in Al-Daba and the other fields of energy that could be propagated here in Egypt through the Russian cooperation?
You know what, that Russian had delivered a very good success preparations related to the plan ahead of the nuclear plant in Daba, and we know now we are matching with the time schedule to finish the mega projects, and we expected to open the first nuclear units by end of 27 for final just operation test, and according to that tours under the Affair Mercy highlighted that a very good cooperation, and also the support of atomic company, Russian company, which they have a very good experiences and also very good support in terms of facilitate the all components of the nuclear plant as per time schedule, and also the willings from our side as the Egyptian to finish that project as agreed time we are waiting for. We are expected to finish all that 4 units contributed the nuclear plant in Daba by end of 2030, with expected 4,800 megawatts, expected with some more applications which may add a value to the all citizen in Egypt. So the portion of Russian in that party is very validated and appreciated by the high level, the President Sisi, and that's the appreciation. And thanks to Mr. Putin for also his support. We have a very good cooperation and very positive history with Russian since long-term time in terms of military manufacturing, in terms of cooperation, sharing experiences, part of energies, and part also related to the heavy industry. So we are in a good pace and good cooperation with Russia in such activities.
Yes, Dr. Gamal Al-Qalyoubi, the Professor of Petroleum Engineering, thank you very much for being with us tonight on Money Means Business and the Nile TV International. We will be heading to the report of the program for tonight, focusing on the negative impacts of the war raging in the Middle East between the United States, Israel and Iran, and the repercussions on the Egyptian economy and how the Egyptian economy's resilience had given a positive message to the world about the future of the global economy, not just the regional one. We'll be having more details in the upcoming report. Stay tuned.
Economic impact on Egypt's economy remains contained amid policy response. The Egyptian government adopts a developed, comprehensive plan to bolster financial stability and ensure the sustainability of public revenues while minimizing the burden on the budget of the escalating economic challenges due to regional tensions, particularly the war in Iran and its direct and indirect impacts on global markets, energy prices, and commodity prices. This plan aims to guarantee the continued growth of the national economy and support citizens in the face of any potential economic shocks. This will contribute to enhancing voluntary compliance among taxpayers and integrating them into the formal economy. The government also aims to increase non-sovereign tax revenues and link them to the performance of promising economic sectors such as entrepreneurship and productive sectors. This will allow for greater flexibility in addressing any economic fluctuations resulting from regional conflicts. Ministry of Finance announced in December 2025 the launch of the second package of tax incentives, which was opened for public discussion in January 2026. On the expenditure side, the government has developed a precise strategy to ensure that financial resources are directed to sectors with a direct impact on human development and economic growth, taking into account the pressures resulting from regional crises. This policy focuses on increasing spending on health and education, improving the quality of public services, and creating genuine job opportunities that boost citizens' incomes. The government is also working to enhance the efficiency of social protection programs, including cash assistance, to support families most affected by crisis. The government's plan includes supporting productive activity and stimulating the national economy by allocating approximately 78.1 billion Egyptian pounds during the 2025-2026 fiscal year to the productive industrial and tourism sectors, as well as small and medium-sized enterprises, the SMEs. The plan includes continuing the export subsidy program to alleviate burdens on the industrial sector and stimulate exports, supporting the tourism sector to accelerate investment expansion and improve the quality of hotel services, and supporting the electric vehicle and natural gas vehicle industries to localize technology and enhance environmental sustainability. The government also seeks to empower youth economically by providing modern transportation options with accessible financing terms, thereby boosting self-employment opportunities and expanding employment across all governorates. At the same time, the government aims to strengthen its partnership with the business community by building a relationship based on trust and transparency, encouraging investment and incentivizing voluntary tax compliance through financial and tax incentives.
Welcome back. You're still watching Money Means Business, and I'm honored to be having with me over the program for tonight Dr. Nader Khedr. Thank you very much once again for being with us tonight. We were speaking during the report about the opportunities during the times of crisis. We do know that there is a conflict in the Middle East affecting the whole globe, affecting the region, in specific the GCC countries, to say the least. Egypt, of course, one of the countries being affected. But you mentioned that we have an opportunity in the upcoming 6 months that we
Yes.
need to be getting the best out of it.
Okay. In 1973, the Gulf countries has benefited from our conflict with Israel due to the oil upheaval that happened. It's our turn now. They are having the upheaval, they are having the conflict. We have paved the road for investment, we have paved the road for exports. Egypt has been focusing in converting its marines and ports into exporting hubs and logistic services hubs. Yet we still need to enhance and intensify our industrial base. An industrial base for any economy cannot be built up unless you have a good regulated market for industrial clusters and industrial development services. Accordingly, we need in the upcoming period, mostly 6 months or 8 months maximum, to have our industrial clusters in the portal areas and the coastal areas be prepared with developmental, efficient and professional development services with pricing regime and mechanism that allows investors to know what are their burdens, what are their responsibilities, what are their commitments to the developer and the facility manager. Why is this? Because Europe is currently closing a winter and opening a summer.
Yes.
By next winter, if the conflict continued, Europe would be in a predicament spot and would need a highly efficient location to gather and prepare its needed resources for energy generation. If we didn't grasp this opportunity in the petrochemical industry and in the by-industries of the petrochemical industry, we would lose a lifetime opportunity.
Yes.
For exports, imports, logistics, and job creation. That's one. The second, here in Egypt, we have a lot of industries that is dependent on many outputs of the petrochemical products.
Yes.
Like plastics, like durables, like decorating supplements, all this. If we grasp this opportunity, we could support the upstream supply chain of such industries, meaning that we will be having a triple stream of industries going. Especially that is expected by the next July, we will be having a very severe crisis in the supply chain internationally, such as the one that we have seen in 2021 beyond the corona or the COVID virus.
If the war is still there?
If the war is still there. Even though if the war ended 2 weeks from now.
Even if it stopped?
Even if it stopped,
yes.
We will have such predicament. Why is that? Because oil and natural gas are ingrediented in many industries. One of them, and we currently have started to see repercussions in it. However, the government of Egypt was clever enough to deal with the repercussions intelligently, is the fertilizers industry.
Yes.
And the hydrochloric acetic acid. So the fertilizers industry and its byproducts goes into farming and agriculture and cattle feeding. If we didn't deal with it intelligently, we would be suffering, as many of countries in Europe currently are suffering from the low availability of food products. So even the war stopped during the coming 2 weeks, the production of the oil byproducts will not be sufficient enough to cover the needs that markets are demanding. Accordingly, there will be higher prices. Accordingly, there will be a flip over in the supply chain of the production. So this is why we are having an opportunity now. The opportunity will not last.
Yes.
However, the opportunity will not be grasped unless the government or the state goes back to its main role stated in the science of politics, which says that the country and the state is a regulator and organizer. We have to have the state going back to its role as an organizer and regulator for the industrial parks, industrial clusters, industrial lands, and its pricing regime. So there will not be any beneficiary from the war circumstances from the private sector players.
Dr. Nader, you also mentioned that you have met several investors for the past 1.5 months to 3 months, coming from the GCC countries, especially after the eruption of the war, from Germany, interested in investing in solar energy, investors from Europe and different parts of the globe. Tell me more about those potential investors. What are they interested in here in the country?
Before I talk to you about those investors, let me tell you a piece of news that we all have read in the past few weeks, that Europe has started to initiate and integrate its nuclear power stations again, to overcome the deficiency in the power generation inputs from oil. Accordingly, all countries over the globe will be seeing a deficiency in the oil market that might reach to up to 27%. Around 20% from Strait of Hormuz, and around 12 to 15% from the Red Sea and its connections to the Abha. Accordingly, what are the alternatives? I need to have alternatives. I'm in the crisis. Accordingly, since Chernobyl, Europe has taken the decision to shut down all its all its nuclear power stations. Yet, within the past few weeks, I think 2 to 3 weeks, many countries have started integrating again these stations. Here in Egypt, we have the opportunity to be the delivery hub for the energy from the other side of the globe, from India, from China, from Indonesia, Malaysia, Australia, because all this oil traffic was going from Strait of Hormuz across Gulf of Arab, across to Red Sea and Suez Canal. May his soul rest in peace, President Mubarak, after he was inaugurated in 1982, he started working on the recommendation of President Sadat, may his soul also rest in peace, regarding the west of Samad oil transportation line. This line was meant to have the Gulf oil from the Red Sea up to Alexandria. We have developed it, but not with the needed rate. Now we see the importance of such project after nearly 40 years or something. The same is about the trade routes that we were negotiating over the past 20 years. I remember in 2006, I have attended the first conference regarding the Silk route, Silk trade route. After that, the Road and the Belt route with China. All these routes were meant to have a trade routes that avoid any conjunctions or military conflicts between India, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Gulf area, Iran, and all this Eastern South Asian territory. These important projects, their priorities for completion were always stopped by one devil in the globe, which is the yellow-red devil that we all know. Accordingly, accordingly, to make themselves the main steerer or the main driver for the global economy. I presume after such conflicts that we are seeing in the region, their power over the economic arena and economic global area would be retreating very much. We need to have some internal preparatory procedures like basket of currencies for the Egyptian pound, like having trades between major players, major other players in the global economy with trading with local currencies.
Yes.
And also giving them facilities and regulations for financial tools that is based on industrial land. As I'm saying, industrial land pricing regime is very important in the coming period.
Yes.
Regulating such market is very important, and we hope that we all pass safe and sound during the coming period.
Yes, hopefully. Dr. Nader Khedr, the finance and the investment specialist, thank you very much for being with us tonight.
Thank you very much.
Anytime. And this brings us to the end of Money Means Business. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.